Hi, welcome everybody. My name's Adam again to the Fighting Fantasy playlist. In today's episode, we are going out of the pit. Out of the Pit, released in 1985. Again, written by Steve Jackson, Ian Livingston, and edited by Mark Gascoigne. The outside illustration, again, Christos Achielos. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced your name. Has done an absolutely amazing job on this cover. This like massive winged creature, his wing is half on the front cover, and if you look at the back, he's half on the back cover as well. It's amazing. All these creatures in here, I don't know their names, but this horny fella here, he's got a lot of horns on his face. It looks like a crazy guy. I'd love to get to know a lot more of these people down here. The book itself, as I say, was released in 1985. I believe there's about 54 of the books released already by now. It should kind of have a thing on the inside, which on this one it doesn't. Okay, in Titan it has on the inside a list of all the titles of the books that they'd released up to that point, and they got up to 54. So they're about 97% of the way through the entire series that was released at that time. So this is really a encyclopedia reference book of all the monsters you'll have come across in their entire Titan world of the Fighting Fantasy series. It has over 250 illustrations. It has a lot of maps in here and tables and charts from different creatures. I'll read you the back and then we'll have a dive in because there's a lot of pictures in here. So it says on the back, from the darkest corners, from the deepest pools, and from the dungeons thought only to exist in nightmares, come the Fighting Fantasy monsters. 250 of these loathsome creatures from the wild and dangerous worlds of Fighting Fantasy are collected here, each of them described in minute detail, an indispensable guide for Fighting Fantasy adventurers, now available in a pocket-sized format. Pocket-sized format must have been that big, you know. So what is it? What is Out of the Pit? Well, it's a monster book, quite literally. It details all the monsters you'll find in the Fighting Fantasy series. Flipping over to a page, you've got Demonic Servant, and you've got an illustration of him. Now, not every monster in this book has an illustration, but what it does tell you about this monster is his skill score, his stamina score, where he's found in the habitat, in this case, the ruins, dungeons, or demonic plane. How many, when you do encounter him, how many are you typically going to encounter? In his case, there'll be 1 to 3 of them. What type of guy is he? Well, he's a demon. The reaction that you might get when you meet him, it says unfriendly. And what kind of intelligence does he have? Low. So he's not very smart. And it does give you a brief description of what he is and who he is, and I'll read it out to you. So it says, for the demonic servant, in their bizarre castles in the infernal regions of hell, the demon princes are served by hordes of lesser beings, usually referred to in the grimoires dealing with such subjects as demonic servants. These strange entities act as guards, acolytes, housekeepers, and even sacrifices when called upon. The servants appear as animated skeletons, clothed in loose black robes similar to monks' habitats. They have sparkling red eyes which glow when they are under the direct control of a higher being. That sounds like Student Night in Chester. So, yeah, a lot of the monsters. Now, the great thing about this book, right, is if you're writing your own book, if you're going to create your own adventure, you could basically use this as a reference guide to the type of creatures you'll encounter if your world is similar, or if you're basically writing your own Fighting Fantasy book. There are a lot of people out there who write their own Fighting Fantasy book, and I bet you any money they use this as the reference. If that was the intention or not, I don't know, but it's a great book. It's not the kind of book you're just going to read perhaps from cover to cover. Like, I've tried to read this a couple of times, literally from A to Z. It does get a bit tedious, a bit boring, but the pictures in it are really, really good. The pictures are from various different artists because they've been picked from all the books up until then. So the artwork is a lot, the styles are varied, and they're really good, you know. And again, it's a part of this with the Titan Out of the Pit. Fighting Fantasy book, The Riddling Reaver. These are sort of extra books in the Fighting Fantasy range. They're not a part of the advanced series, but they are sort of seen in the same sort of light as that. They're almost like a 5, with the Dungeoneer, Port Black's, and Alancia. Then you've got Titan and Out of the Pit. They're kind of seen in the same group. But it's a great read. So that's it for this episode. So yeah, go check it out. eBay, Amazon, secondhand stores, wherever you can find it, go grab it. It's a great book. So that's it for this episode. Leave your comments below, and this is almost like a last chance to send in that top 10 list of yours that will be cherry picked and gone through. And if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and we'll do a Q&A video in the future. And until next time, adventurers, take care. Bye bye now.